If you want to learn how to draw a bee, look no further. I've got a simple step-by-step illustration tutorial all ready for you. Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to illustrate a bee. And as usual, I have a worksheet for those of you that want that little bit of extra guidance. It's available on my Patreon site. This is a great way to support the channel. It's just $2 a month, so check it out after the video. I actually did a bee theme for one of my Plan With Me's last year. It was super popular on social media, so I want to kind of streamline it and talk about bee illustration today. You'll need some scrap paper. You'll want a fine liner or two. I like the mulatto black liners, a pencil and eraser, and then I'm going to finish my design on some beautiful handmade paper, but that's totally optional. You can do this in your sketchbook, journal, whatever. I'll work on scrap paper because we're going to do a practice sketch first. So just practice. Start with a little semicircle for his head. Then we drop down, do a curving line, and that's the upper part of his body. And then we kind of work out this almond shape, and that is the lower part of his body. So that's your basic form of the bee. Then we're going to do 2 legs, actually a total of 4 legs, 2 large ones and then 2 smaller ones. And then from there, some antennae. And we can add his stripes, and I tend to add all the stripes and markings of the bee by doing lots and lots of little lines, so lots of line shading. We'll talk more about that when we go over it with fine liner. To draw his wings, I find it helpful to give yourself 2 guidelines. So those wings are pretty small. They're not going to go above his head, and they're not going to go really below his legs. Don't worry about getting them perfectly even, just sort of sketch in these big oval shapes. That's his wings. Let's go over this in fine liner and we'll talk about everything again. He's got a little semicircle for his head here, just real messy, real small. Our bee's body is striped, and as I said, I don't just want to color in like a whole lot of black to make your illustration look more dynamic and alive. Do those black stripes with just lots and lots of really dense line shading. I think that looks so much better and so much more interesting. And then those yellow stripes, it's still going to be line shading, but just not as tight, not as dense. And in that way, we create this nice little striped bee. I'm going over his legs and thickening them up a bit at the top, tracing over the wings. Remember, they don't have to be perfectly even, and his antennae. And that's pretty much it. That's just our practice sketch, remember. We're going to do this all over again together. We're going to work through it. I am working on a nice piece of handmade watercolor paper. It's got a beautiful texture. It is quite a small little piece of paper, so I am just going to tape that in place. That's mostly for your benefit, so the paper isn't flying all over the place when you're trying to watch. And then we'll begin our sketch in pencil. I marked my line for center. It shows me where I'm going to draw this bee. I start with my semicircle for his head, drop down with those sort of curving lines, and then drop down again with that kind of big almond-shaped butt. And that is the form of our bee. And then I can use my pencil to kind of sketch in those stripes, his yellow and black stripes. Maybe add a little color to the head. Do as much in pencil as you want. There's no shame in doing everything in pencil. Plan it all out before you get that fine liner. Sketch out those long legs and the shorter legs, maybe thicken them up a little bit. And then I need to sketch his wings in. And even though this is my good copy, I'm still going to give myself some guidelines so that my wings don't get too big. You can also look at your illustration in a mirror, or even just real quick flip it upside down. That will show you if one wing is like way off and they totally don't look symmetrical, but you think they do because you're the one looking at it. Sort of trick your brain by flipping it upside down. And then you're just kind of looking, does one wing need to be a little longer? Do I need to thicken up this leg? Once you're happy with your bee sketch, we might just add a little wreath around him. That's optional, of course. And then we're ready to start working in pen. And I'm using the mulatto black liners. Remember, supplies are linked in the video description. This is the 07 nib. But use the nib size that you're comfortable with. And I'm starting by coloring in his head, but I kind of leave a little bit of page showing through, a little paper showing through there. I just think that looks interesting. It's just like the line shading for the stripes. Showing that bit of white paper, it makes your illustration so much more lively. And you know what makes that really easy? Having a super textured handmade paper. It's going to make everything look so much more sophisticated. So definitely try that if you can get your hands on a nice piece of paper. Maybe head over to Etsy, support a handmade paper maker. I don't know. We've colored in his body with that nice line shading, those stripes made up of lots and lots of little lines, thickened his legs a little bit. We've completed our contour drawing with the antennae and the wings, and that is pretty much our bee. What I want to do now is just add some lines going down the length of those wings. I kind of allow myself to use the paper texture and let those lines be a little bit broken. Then we're going to come in with a smaller fine liner if you have one. I think I'm using the O2 nib, and we're just going to add some more lines to his stripes, just to make it look really like he's like a furry little bee. Add some thin line shading to the wings, and really just touch up any areas that you think need a little more thickening or whatever. Using a smaller fine liner just gives you that precision. And then our final step is go back to that larger fine liner, whatever size you were using, grab it, and we're just going to add a little bit of a design on the upper wings. And that's it. Our bee is complete and he looks so cute. And I think doing a practice sketch and then working it out in pencil, you can really see that this is something totally achievable and it doesn't have to be scary. I love drawing things from the natural world, but that doesn't usually include insects, birds, and animals. Those are always a little bit of a challenge for me, but I do find whenever I get out of my comfort zone, it's really rewarding. It's totally worth it. And it's like, what is there to be scared of, right? So to complete my bee illustration, I want to do something that I am familiar with and that does build my confidence, and that is to add just some nice leaves and maybe some little berries, all those floral and leafy elements that I love. And so I just sketched 2 curving lines, one on each side of him, and then I'm just going along with my fine liner and adding lots of tiny little leaves and berries, and it just looks so delicate and pretty, and it frames our bee illustration really nicely. So that kind of is a nice thing that you can add if you like. Like my shirt? You can get one for yourself. Check the merch shelf below this video. I'll clean my little bee up here and we are all done. Thank you guys so much for watching today. If you want to support this channel and keep these videos coming, all you have to do is one simple thing, and that is hit the subscribe button. It makes such a huge difference. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.